Hey guys, Nightbear here. Before the video starts, let me make a quick announcement. As I'm sure you all know, I have a second channel that focuses on my upcoming Ninjago series. I haven't uploaded anything in a while because of other reasons, but I really want to get this channel back and post stuff more frequently. But I will need the support from you guys. If you show me your support or just general feedback, that would be great. If there are people you know, encourage them to subscribe to my second channel. Also, I am officially giving out my email. Link for that will be in the description. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, the email will be in the description. So with that quick announcement out of the way, let's get into the subject of this video. Movies like Back to the Future and the untitled sequel to Avengers Infinity War deal with time travel to a high degree. In one aspect, it makes the story all the more interesting and provides the audience with more suspense. Time is not something that should be taken lightly, and Ninjago has already dealt with its own form of time travel. Unfortunately, little to no effects were made from the time travel, but the timeline skewed at a small amount. There is evidence to suggest that it already did happen. Here's what I mean. The timeline could have been tweaked a bit during certain points in Ninjago's history. We had the ninja following Garmadon in the past through the power of his mega weapon. Nauticon granting Jay's final wish by erasing most of the events from Skybound could have changed the timeline a bit. And the Time Twins traveling through time with Master Wu caused the most drastic change in the timeline. As I've said before, the effects were not entirely drastic, with the exception of the appearances of the 6 ninja caused by Wu, Chronix, and Crux. But what if their meddling in the past did more to the timeline split? What if the timeline split caused more changes than just their appearances? What if the consequences were more drastic than we initially anticipated? Every time someone goes back in time and changes some event in the past, time itself always finds a way to replace that changed event, thus changing the future. To what degree the future changes all depends on the event that was changed. So it is my belief that the timeline split did not just change the ninja's design changes. I mean, it really can't be. What I mean is that the timeline has a lot more events that were changed, including everyone's lives. What am I getting at? Well, going back in time not only changes the future, but it also changes everyone's lives. Sometimes the change could be so drastic that new individuals could come into existence, or other characters could be erased. This could have happened in the timeline shift, and everyone's lives could have changed as a result. Here's where my theory comes into play. Let's suppose that the timeline split changed the lives of the ninja and added more people. For all we know, the change in the timeline could have affected the lives of both Jay and Lloyd specifically. See, in fan-made series, the characters of both Lloyd and Jay have siblings. Lloyd's sibling is Joy Garmadon. She is Lloyd's older sister, the Purple Ninja, and the Master of Creation and Energy. Jay's sibling is named Zack Walker. He is Jay's twin brother and another elemental master of lightning. If you want to learn more about these characters, look at these two videos. Also, my best recommendation for their origins are NJL Productions videos specifically. He is very awesome. Link for his channel is in the description. Yes, I know Nelson is the honorary Purple Ninja, but he kinda reminds me of Dareth. And besides, we haven't seen him since Season 6, and we haven't seen him in Season 8, and most likely not in Season 9, so I'm not counting it. Now, where am I going with all this? Well, what if the series decided to add in these fan-made characters into the timeline shift? The only way I can see Joy and Zack coming into existence is through the timeline split. Just imagine Lloyd and Jay finding out that they both have siblings in their family that are one of the many results of the skewed timeline. A lot of people have wondered about the possibilities of Lloyd and Jay's siblings being canon to the series, and have even told me their own stories about this subject in some of my videos that I've made in the past. Okay, so the plot twist is Season 8 will be about Lloyd and Jay, okay? Okay, so Jay has an evil twin because when Jay and Zack were born, their parents chose only one of them to keep, and they picked Jay. So now, after years, Zack returns to get revenge on Jay because Zack thinks Jay ruined his life because when they gave him up for adoption, Zack's life has been awful since then, so he's blaming Jay for it, and then Joy joins up only as a masked figure, and in the end, Joy tells Lloyd that she is who she is, and Jay and Zack are fighting, and in the end, Zack beats Jay, and he tries to talk some sense into Zack before Zack could finish him off. The other ninja come around and capture Zack, and then the Time Twins return. Then Lloyd, Joy, Nia, and Kai all fight them. It's the twin battle, and in the end, they would find Wu. So yeah, who else thinks this would be great for Season 8? Hello, I'm new to your channel, and when I saw this, I just had to come and check it out. I had a big idea for Lego, and I wanted a big Ninjago fan like myself to hear it. So I thought of Lloyd having a twin sister, and them having a special bond when they were around each other. Leah and Lloyd would have the same power, and when she was little, she was there with her brother at the episode Child's Play, but she was hidden and grew up just like he did. So she has to finish the second part of the Proterozoic Green Ninja facing the Dark Lord. Before they meet each other, Garmadon comes back, and so does the Overlord. He has big plans and was building an army before he needed some help. So one day the ninja were in the park for a festival, and she and Lloyd were there. Lloyd gets some serious visions and headaches and goes to sit down for a bit, then sees a girl running around through the crowd. He goes and follows her, but then he gets stopped by some fans and loses her. After he sneaked out, he goes and tries to follow her, but then he saw her knocked out in an alleyway with a guy. He rushes to go fight him, then he vanishes, leaving the girl. He takes her to Wu, and they let her sleep. Then they don't know who the girl is, so they just kind of start talking about her until they get an emergency call to go to a dangerous place that the villain Lloyd saw was waiting there a few minutes ago after they left. Misako and Garmadon are waiting to see the girl they found, and they began chatting, finding out that she was Leia Garmadon, and she got up and felt dizzy then fell, but then got up and raced out of the bounty. She was shocked and jumped of the bounty, and she ran to the place where the ninja were fighting. Then after the fight, Lloyd knew her from the other fight. The villain got up and took her, then left. The ninja, in confusion of who she was and why the villain wanted her. I will leave the rest up to the writers, but I wanted to give them this, but they never listened, so I hope they take my idea though. Actually, I would rather think that Lloyd has a brother because it would match the story of Garmadon and Wu, and if he has a brother, he would have brown hair because Lloyd doesn't have brown hair. Also, I got another theory for you that Lloyd could also have a brother called Colin. When Lloyd and Colin were young, Garmadon was still kinda like friends with Chen, and Garmadon had two sons, Lloyd and Colin. So Chen told Garmadon that he owned him and that he can take one of his sons, and he gave up Colin, so it's possible that Chen turned him against his family and has been hiding him for all those years and put a mind-controlling spell on him to make him kill Lloyd and everyone else that Lloyd knows and make his life awful. So it's possible that that's what it meant by Sons of Garmadon, because Garmadon had another son. But even with Chen gone, the spell remained on him, and he's been spending all this time getting back to Ninjago and training with these other like ninja that are trying to steal that mask thing. The Mask of Vengeance. I don't know. That's all I got. And at the end, Lloyd finds out a way to break the spell, and Colin becomes the Dark Green Ninja. Because, you know, Lloyd is light green, so yeah. Those were just a select few, so let's go back to the subject. But if you want to see more of those comments, you can go digging into my 2 videos if you really want to. Alright, so if the writers decide to make the consequences of Season 8 storyline more drastic, they could add in new characters that were not part of the timeline that Season 7 left off. If they add new characters that are close to the ninjas, such as new siblings, that would make things a lot more interesting and provide a greater amount of development within the ninja team. You could also have the Season 7 timeline and the Season 8 timeline cross together, or maybe even go back entirely. Personally, I feel that introducing multiple timelines is a good way for the show to journey forward in an interesting and dynamic way. I think it could add an entirely new aspect to the series that could raise its credibility even more. If there are siblings that exist in the ninja team, that would be really cool. It could benefit them in the story standpoint and raise the stakes even more. I can't say for sure how drastic the timeline has changed due to what has happened during Season 7, nor can I prove that the timeline changed so much that it added new characters into existence such as Joy and Zack, but the Time Twins are still out there and their story has a lot more to offer, but who knows. I'm not saying that this theory is 100% correct, because the chances of this being correct are extremely low. However, we cannot exclude the fact that introducing multiple timelines and new characters would be great for world building. Complexity is something that should be kept in mind though, as younger viewers, even old viewers, may not fully understand how the timelines work and which ones connect with which, and they may be confused on how Season 8's timeline includes new characters that exist within the ninja team, such as Lloyd's sister and Jay's brother, while Season 7's timeline did not. So in that aspect, I can understand why this dynamic won't be considered, but I truly feel as though it will only go to increase the value of the actual series. In the end, I personally believe that the timeline had more drastic changes than just the ninjas' appearances in the form of their design changes. Because of the leading theory that time always resets itself after an event in the past has changed, one can assume that there are more drastic changes to the timeline that we haven't seen. But of course, that's why we speculate and make our own theories. So besides that, that's pretty much all I have to say in this video, so thank you guys so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to like this video and share this with your friends, and subscribe guys, it really means a lot to me. Don't forget to leave a comment stating what you thought of the video itself or the subject matter, or if you just had a general comment, that's fine too. Again, my email is in the description, so if you have any thoughts, comments, or concerns, email me. My email is in the description once again. Once again, the comment section is yours for any discussions you want to have regarding this topic, or if you just had a general comment, that's fine too. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Have a great summer, and I'll see you next time.